Not talked about. I am that girl ready for my first visit to the moon, with a God's hide soon at the junction of my thighs. Don't talk to me about democracy and despots deporting patriots. Don't talk to me about handshakes and the statistics we are on a political scoreboard. Tell me of how I'll convince my father to return the already paid bride price. Tell me how I can suppress the push my waist makes on my loincloth. Don't talk to me about promises and prices, Cambridge cartels and casinos. Don't talk to me about the gamblers they are, tossing us like dice.
A very warm welcome to you. This is Books and Blogs, and yes, we do indeed want you to talk to us because today we celebrate poetry and all things poems, and we're joined by Mr. Oyoo Mboya. The guy who just read that poem, he wrote it. He has a whole book of poems, poetry, and Mr. George Agak, he's Kenyan and Ethiopian too. And he had breakfast while the rest of us did. Welcome to the program, gentlemen. So, Oyoo, congratulations first on this book.
Thank you.
I love it. The poem you just read, what's the genesis of it?
It's a political poem to start with.
Yes.
And during these moments when we have a lot of concerns about the basic needs of the girl child, away from politics and the mainstream manifesto that politicians are selling to us at the expense of the common girl. We're here talking about billions lost in corruptions, and we have girls who can't afford very basic needs. Yeah, the poem begins the voice of a girl. I am that girl. Yeah.
Okay. So political upheavals, so you just became the voice of the girl.
Exactly.
Do you have anything that represents the voice of the boy?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it off head?
It isn't often.
It's not off head. Okay. When did you start writing this book?
The book has been in progress right from 2014. The writing of poetry never ends. So it's been something I've been writing and rereading, and you get to change some stuff.
Yeah.
Words, lines, and whole poems.
Yeah. But at one point you decided it needs to be published anyway. You had to stop.
That is part of the many reasons why the book hasn't gone out on print.
Okay. Because you're still cleaning it up, polishing it?
Yeah.
You don't think it's good enough?
No.
Or you're a perfectionist?
I'm not. Actually, I'm a body of flaws.
You're a body of flaws.
Yeah.
All your words have to sound like that. Like Rithi, Nini.
And inadequacies. But about the book, I really need to put a complete package out there for the people, and I don't think it's complete enough. There are things I need to readjust.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you always been a lover of poetry?
Yes, I have.
What's that background like?
Right from kindergarten.
Okay.
The singing of London Bridge is burning, and there's another one, a black sheep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Those are poems, lovely ones.
Yeah. Okay. So what was that journey? I want your journey.
I can talk about the journey when I get to the end. I'm on that journey.
You're on the journey. No, the beginnings of this journey.
The beginnings were way back when we used to sing songs in nursery school.
Uh-huh.
And poetry is song. So I've always believed that human emotions can be sent out in songs. Yeah.
Agak, you're also a published poet.
Yeah, I'm a published poet.
Tell us about yours.
My book was published in 2018, and so far it's done well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So how big is it? How many poems are in there?
About 50 poems.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
about 50 poems,
Yeah.
and just inspired by the daily goings and comings. Yeah.
So no particular themes, just what's happening today, you're inspired, you write.
You know, there's one thing about having thematic poems, because you pretend that the other facets of your life are stagnant. You understand? And you concentrate in one thing, and life isn't that way. Life is spontaneous. One thing comes and another goes. So you can't only write about the things that come, also write about the things that go. So that is why I decided that book isn't going to be themed around one subject. Yeah.
Okay, why the title Nothing Underneath?
Nothing underneath. It's a title to a poem inside. the book.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So there's a poem actually with nothing underneath.
I see.
Yeah, and it's just about the emptiness of a soul. Just you're just bearing yourself to the world that this is who I am. These are the struggles I go through. These are the dreams I've had. These are the aspirations I'm having. But at the moment, this is all I am. There's nothing underneath. What you're seeing is what you're getting. Yeah, yeah.
This is all there is right
This
now.
is all there is
Yeah.
right now.
Okay.
If there's any better, then it's a dream. If there was something that wasn't there, it's the past. But right now, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there an active poetry community where you come from, which is Homa Bay County, right?
Yes.
Yes.
No, there isn't any.
Okay.
But we are trying to initiate one.
Okay.
Poetry has evolved down to the level of spoken word, so to celebrate that.
Okay, when you say devolved down, meaning?
Meaning we had the structures initially, what defined a poem and what defined poetry, the set rules and standards.
Educate us. So what's the difference actually?
I believe spoken word is more or less of wordplay. Wordplay. And, there are structures that defines a poem.
Okay.
Yeah. With spoken word, it's poetry that I doubt if it can be written and celebrated in the written word. I think it gets more of its audience and participation in the spoken word. Yeah, it has to be.
It has to be performed.
Yeah, it has to be
The
performed.
spoken word.
Yes, it has to be performed. Even when it's written, sometimes you read it and you can't make sense of all of it until the performer comes to stage, especially when it has a lot of punchlines and stuff. Then you are now able to read the performer's mind and journey with them when they stop.
Yeah.
We began from this point and we ended from this point.
Yeah.
So when you read it, when it is written, you might not get the desired emotion that you would get
Right.
when it is performed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for example, if I'm reading Every Wife's Prayer, which I will read in a few minutes, if it's performed, then it becomes spoken word. Is that what you're saying? No. Okay, so clarify it then.
Spoken word is hard to write, just like the name goes. Spoken word. I believe it should get its genesis from its orality.
Yes.
It thrives on its orality, the ability to be spoken out in word. Unlike what we write, it isn't about wordplay and punchlines and trying to play around with the words to make sense or entertain. Yeah.
So what you write is not supposed to make sense or entertain. The two of you are confusing me.
No. What it's trying to say, what it is that spoken word, there's a level to it that you have to think about wordplay and entertaining people. Because most you are performing to people, like, let's say poetry, there are people who don't really love reading poetry. And then the people just want to listen. And to get such a crowd, just a common crowd from Madare, from Kibera, and then they are seated somewhere and they want that entertainment. They won't sit and listen to you read all these poems. They want something that entertains them.
Got it.
A wordplay here,
Yeah.
punchline there. Yeah, just mix it in a body language here and there.
Yeah.
That is what constitutes spoken word. We ain't trying to say that that spoken word is a lesser art form. We are trying to say that, but there are parts of it that ain't in the written word. So much that when you are creating a spoken word piece, you have to approach it differently from when you're just writing a poem. Not every written poem can be a
spoken word.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. That makes sense. So does every poem have a story behind it? Oyoo?
Yeah, we do.
So what's the story behind Every Wife's Prayer?
Every Wife's Prayer is a story about...
Do you want to read it so that people can know what you're talking about there?
Please do.
Every wife's prayer. Some nights the moon will be too shy to be full, and the air colder than a rapist's heart. You need not speak the pain can't in you. Just lose your tongue in a lover's mouth. Just cry your pain on a lover's lap. Close your eyes, and with them, dim your hopes. In the double darkness of the night and closed eyes, count your childhood dreams, blinking away like a shooting star. Pray to the gods of your ancestors, to the river by whose banks your manhood was severed, to make you a real man, real enough not to be softened by the tender pricks of ripe on a woman's, to make you a full man, full enough to empty the seeds from your loin bag into the feminine gardens without a show of affection. On those banks that you are taught, you are a real man, and real men don't cry before or behind women. Pray hard that at daybreak, may the river whose waters wash the last traces of love from you, pray that river be found in the neighboring village, so that you may once again be the boy you were before they hardened you into a man you are not.
Okay. Talk to us about that.
If we could retract our discussion back to spoken word and the written poetry,
Yeah.
you can agree with me that that is a poem that cannot be performed before an audience and you expect cheers and jeers. It's something that can only be read and internalized. So the poem is about the boy child that you asked about, the voice of the boy. And many a times society has initiated boys into men they are not. You're told a real man shouldn't do this and that, a real man is this and that. The society has so many definitions of who a real man should be and should not be.
Yeah.
And one of the many things that the society has forced down on the boy child is that a boy, or rather a man, is not expected to cry.
Yeah.
So many men are dying in marriages. So we are talking about a man initiated by the society into someone he's not. Yeah, we want to bring back the boy in the man, the vulnerable boy, who can cry out the emotions.
Wow, that is so powerful. When you're writing a poem, do you have an expectation that people will understand what you've written or the story behind it?
Yes, I do.
Yeah?
Yes, I do.
So whoever read that poem, what Agak has just read, are supposed to understand, because I understood the whole vulnerability thing for a boy, but not in the depth that you've explained. So it means what? I'm not the audience?
No, it means you are the audience, but like poetry, another aspect what differentiates poetry from spoken word is sometimes you don't have to understand it at first read. You have to meditate upon it, just read it and go through the lines again. When you read it like this just words hitting your ears, and then you read it a second time, and then you join the dots. Yeah,
so it starts to make sense. Second reading, third reading.
Yes, this person is talking about vulnerability. This is what he's trying to say. Sometimes a poem may be a little deeper than the words say it is. Especially when you read Oyoo poems, they find that every line there is always some twist into his poems. Sometimes you begin reading his poem from the beginning and then you understand it. The last line, you've read all this poem, it might be a whole page.
Yeah.
And then when you are reaching the last stanza, and this is what he was talking about. Yeah. So, so poetry, sometimes you just have to read and meditate upon that.
Yeah, I like that.
This is what he's saying.
Yeah.
This is it.
I like that.
Yeah. So when you take that poem and perform it to an audience, you know you are reading it. They don't even have a reference point. You are reading someone is busy on the poem, so he's lost a stanza or two.
Yeah.
By the time you are reaching the last line, they haven't asked anything. So
Got
it's,
it. It's beginning to be clear, the difference between the two.
Yes.
It's a very thin line, but the more you keep explaining it, the more clarity I get.
Yes.
Okay. What did Wangeshi ever do to you? There's a poem on Wangeshi, and my name is Wangeshi, by the way. So when I saw that poem, I said, what? It's very rare to see my name written about it. What did Wangeshi do?
Next time you see Wangeshi, one of my most favorite poems. Huh?
Is it? It's one of your most favorite?
Exactly. It's a poem on tribalism and the dictates that you have to, with marriages and human relations. We've always been told, when you're growing up, your parents let you play with the Wangeshis, but when you get to some point where you want to play your own games with Wangeshis, they begin to draw barriers.
Who draws barriers? Wangeshis?
Culture.
Culture
Begins to draw barriers. So this poem is about a gentleman who so much loved Wangeshi, and
But why did you pick that name? That's what I'm curious about, because it's not a common name to read. It's Joki, Wangui.
I love the name Wangeshi.
Ah.
Yeah, all the Wangeshis I've met are beautiful ladies.
I am Wangeshi. In fact, exactly the way you spelled it, C-H-I. No, there are two spellings.
Okay.
The C-I and the C-H-I.
Wangechi is synonymous to beauty in Kikuyu, or in my understanding.
Your understanding is correct. I mean, you're not being very... So anyway, so there's no Wangeshi personal story there. It's just a name you happen to like.
There's no personal story. Absolutely no personal story.
You, Agak said the way your poems are deep.
Absolutely no personal story.
Okay. So you were saying culture has dictated that we cannot...
Yeah.
When you want to take Wangeshi,
No, Wangeshi. The very last stanza of the poem.
Do you have it there? Could you read it? Yeah, actually read the whole poem.
The whole poem?
Yes, please.
Next time you see Wangeshi. Next time you see Wangeshi, I've got the spelling of the pronunciation right.
Yes.
Next time you see Wangeshi, tell her, I've kept her the fragile edge of my dreams. She's dangling, ready for a fall. With the first cockcrow, she'll be gone with the weak embers of daybreak. Next time you see Wangeshi, tell her, I stopped caring, walking out late on cold nights, holding hips and giggling, along narrow paths where market women pass late after dusk, or pulling strings hanging out of roof rails, tied on ankles, in the middle of the night to wake and elope with her into the naked glare of a full moon. Next time you see Wangeshi, tell her, I no longer miss her, but the memories of our times spent by the riverside, hidden in the reeds, my heart smiling, at the shrubs left bare after her leaf-picking endeavor, my mind feeling the puzzle drawn by her big toe on the sandy banks. Next time you see Wangeshi, tell her, these days I don't make her necklaces or stolen buttons from my mother's dress, nor do I scratch her name on sisal leaves and the bark of frogs. Though the thorns, scribbles tattoo on my wrist still ache with her name. Next time you see Wangeshi, tell her, my heart has learned to be patient, not to race and pace, my feet no longer shuffle in haste when Baba wakes up before us, before she's hidden out of my Simba. Next time you see Wangeshi, tell her, I still love her, but my father, he married me an ugly wife from our tribe.
So, look, reading that poem, I thought to myself that Wangeshi exists or existed, and she broke your heart because you're saying, I'll no longer do this for you, I'll no longer do this for you, I'll no longer do this for you. And now you're telling me that you actually wanted Wangeshi, but
the parents.
Hearts are never broken. Hearts are never broken. They just transform. See, never broken hearts just transform.
So it's like what Agak was saying. The last sentence, the last what do you call it? Where you say your dad got you an ugly
from our tribe. So I want to marry Wangeshi.
But you see, the whole poem, it doesn't come out like he wanted to marry Wangeshi.
I really wanted to. It's not every day that you go out plucking buttons from old dresses to make a necklace. It's not it.
But then, so what are you saying? What I'm reading, I'm supposed to be doing the opposite. Because I'll no longer do this, I'll no longer do this, I'll no longer do this. I want to understand your writing style.
Once your father has pushed an ugly wife
into your Simba,
you have to live with her. And you have to stop thinking about Wangeshi.
For the oneness of the community.
Exactly. From our tribe. Them to way to.
Yeah, I get that. So you're telling me there's no truth to this poem. But earlier on you just told me every poem there's a story behind it, an experience.
Where I come from, there are people who have wanted to bridge ethnic barriers and gaps. There's a time I once heard an old man asking a young boy in a clan meeting, but please point to us the home of let me use Kikuyu. Point to us the home of a Kikuyu grandmother around here, and we couldn't find any. Couldn't find an old Kikuyu granny Yeah, in the whole village. And so
But you're hearing of young men marrying Kikuyu wives that
you don't see where they age. And so
So when they're married, where they take him?
we don't know. We don't know.
but we just know that they don't grow home. They don't grow old in Luo homes.
The age
That is what
elsewhere.
the old man is
Like
trying
true
to show.
story.
They age elsewhere, honestly.
No, as in that story you're saying is a true story.
This one is a true story.
Yes.
This is a true story. They age elsewhere, away from their marital homes, and so the boy was asked, "How special are you that you're so sure that this young, beautiful Kikuyu girl, Wangeshi, is going to age here with us?" And so they pushed an ugly woman
Why are you insisting on the word ugly?
because
it's not your
she
child.
wasn't his
His preference.
Exactly.
Yes. So where do you think these young men take their Wangeshis once they marry them? Where do they age from? I know you know. Why are you looking at Agak? He doesn't know. It's your poem. He won't rescue you this time. Where are they taken?
See, Agak has been in Nairobi almost all his life, so
Yes.
he knows where the Wangeshis age better than I do.
Oh, where do they age then?
What is his age in Nairobi?
You see, this poem draws a lot of its strength from the battle of the body of the late SM Otieno and Mboya. Yeah. They don't age at home, and if they age at home, one time someone asked another to point to us another grave where a Kikuyu woman was buried. Where I come from, there was none. Yeah. So they don't age there. Yeah. And happily, they don't die there.
They don't die there, they don't live there, die there, or age from there.
They don't age there, they don't die there.
Let's take a quick break as we try to decipher where Wangeshis die, live, buried. From Oyoo's place. Don't go too far, we'll be right back. Well, thank you for writing a poem about me, or at least my name. I appreciate your kindness and generosity.
There has never been a Wangeshi.
Sorry?
There has never been a Wangeshi. So
There has never been. I've never read about myself.
just a name, just a name.
Yeah?
Don't tag a story to it.
No, but you already said what the story, what inspired the story. Yes, very deep. Welcome back from the break. This is Books and Blogs. I'm here with Agak and Mboya, two incredibly intelligent poets. Is that a good title for you? Poets, authors? Yeah? You know, Oyoo is about to complicate it, so let's hear what you're about to say. Make it complex for us. It's okay. Huh?
I think the tag poet comes from the audience. If you call me a poet, I'd agree to that.
Okay.
But I can't introduce myself as a poet.
Yeah. So, what do you introduce yourself
Mboya
as?
the poet.
No, I'm just a Mboya, a cluster of sounds and letters that were tagged to me at birth.
A cluster of sounds and letters that...
Forced to you at birth, pushed to you. What is Wangeshi about you? What is Wangeshi in you?
A cluster of letters and words. Eish.
Which you cannot find in yourself. It's hard to tell.
Just describe yourself. Kindly. You have now taken this on another tangent.
How would I describe myself?
Yes. Even you will.
Let me use the book to describe myself. Huh?
Oh yeah, sure.
The preface, up there, there's something. Author's note. We humans are stories, so I am a story. That is me.
Can you read it?
No, it's just that. Author's note. We humans are stories. It's just that.
We humans are stories. So Mboya is a story.
Yeah,
I like that. I actually like that. But can you make it a bit more... Add your complexity in it.
There's
I'm
absolutely
intrigued.
nothing complex about it. You see, we are now here making stories. Some other people are elsewhere watching us and making stories about us.
And the poems are stories
stories.
about people.
Mboya remains a story. Agak remains a story. After his death, we talk about him as a story.
Yes.
Right now, people are talking about him elsewhere as a story. So we are nothing but stories.
I like that. I like that. Agak, do you agree?
I agree with him.
You totally agree with him.
I totally agree with that. The point that he says that when you die, all that remains stories.
Yeah.
Stories one
Should
issue.
people tell
Yeah.
stories about you? That's what they do actually in the
Right now,
service.
there are people talking about you. That's
I
why
am
we
not
had a
dead,
meeting.
Agak. What
You are
are
not
you
dead,
saying?
but people are talking about you.
Yeah, but
Someone
you
is
brought
just
it right
wondering,
after the
where
death
can I get
example.
Wangeshi? Where can I get Wangeshi? I want to get on this books and blog show. Where can I get her? They're already talking about you.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. We had this thing like when you are having hiccups, then it means someone is talking about you.
Yeah, we used to say that. Actually, to this day, I still do. Yeah.
And you never stop having hiccups. So people never stop talking about you.
So in case you're wondering where to find me, books and blogs, don't just find me in vain. You have to be an author, whether published or not. You have to be a poet. Well, a poet is an author anyway because they end up writing it. KTN Life and Style, that's a hashtag on Twitter, on Facebook. Just KTN Life and Style search, you find us. Let us know what you've written, and who knows, you'll just end up here. And hopefully you'll also be from Homa Bay County. Maybe hopefully you're also called Mboya Oyoo. Exactly. Okay, look at the poem I've landed on, which I said we won't read.
But you want me to read it? Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, let audience.
Yeah, read actually because you wanted to read that one
Yeah, I
anyway.
wanted to read this.
Yeah.
And People's Park. The People's Park, exactly.
Yeah.
So let me start with this, okay?
And you'll be able to tell us the story behind that one.
I'll try.
You will. Blessed bastard. In my mirror-like eyes, you see the reflection of a painful past. My sinful scent still smells a product of lust. Though I have in body outgrown the mustard, my thoughts are still those of a bastard. Am I that little moment without a second thought that part of me was in her, determined to swim long and far in the race of millions I want, to hug tight my sister and be one? Am I the morning sickness that ached an underage princess? That disease she tried to vomit out but still stuck to sprout. When her tummy began to swell, that's when she knew pretty well I was the gas that messed her trim figure and gave her family a bad picture. I'm the one that before she tried to cleanse with an after pill. The sin she couldn't kill, the regret of not using condoms, the product of untamed emotions. She couldn't go to school, for her tummy was full. I occupied her very being, her everything. Am I the shock that hit him? The frown that shadowed his smile dim when he realized she was not fat, but pregnant. He felt his knees grow weak, the past dark, the present blur, and the future bleak. He physically fought to squeeze me out, saved by her cries and shouts. Am I the enmity that grew between them? When she made a choice to hold me firm, she chose me, her sinful son, over him, her beloved man. 9 months she lived in shame, with the past to forever blame, her age mates earning more paper certificates. She held me with certified regrets. Am I the guilt that kept him on the move? The history he hated to have. So he kept running after the winds, going yonder and yonder with the tides. Everyone says I have his face. That father I can't trace. So I took into the mirror and see an image of a man who's singing his own dirge. Am I that reconciliation he now longs for? That son he hates to adore? Oh no, I am mama's boy, her pride, her joy.
How many stories are in that? Oh, you're not done?
Just one. This one story.
You're done, right?
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
done.
Uh-huh.
It's this one story.
Tell us the story.
You know, away from popular belief that as a writer you must draw your inspiration from other writers. I get most of my inspiration from what happens around us, just like Agak said. This is a story about what we call deadbeat fatherhood and teen pregnancy. The voice of a child neglected before birth by a father he hasn't seen. And once these kids have made a breakthrough in life, the fathers have the desire to come back and reap their fortunes. It's just that simple.
Wow.
Or just to add their name.
Just to add the name
Just
of the
to
wheel.
add their name so they can be identified with you, that I had a son called Oyoo who is now a very great poet.
Yeah. They want to be ID'd with you.
Yeah, this one is an experimental poem. I was trying to write a poem that rhymes. You know. I was trying to work on rhyme. It's not easy. Many times we write poems in a freestyle, called them the free verse poems. So this was an experimental one on whether I could attain some sensible rhyme.
Yeah. And you graded yourself?
I think I did.
We
did
can
right.
grade him. We can
Okay.
give him marks.
Please grade me.
We can give him 99.99999.
Wow.
Yeah, because the 0.00% is for there's always room for
Improvement. Yes.
Because we could create different rhymes and still keep the poem flowing. Yeah. And what I got when I was reading the poem is that I was getting stories of three people. From the child's talks, we can now get who the father is, the kind of father he is, his feelings, his aspirations,
Yeah.
what he was back then, what he is back right now,
Yeah.
and the mother. You can now see how sometimes women just struggle to keep their children without knowing what tomorrow will be like.
True.
Yes, I'm holding on to this one. It doesn't matter if you leave me with her,
Yes.
but don't kill it.
Yeah.
I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Even in that state, we're just trying to show that there's life. There's already life in
Yeah.
that state,
Yeah.
which now goes against what science tells us, that it's after conception and
No.
stuff. But this point is now
It
telling
starts
us that
there,
at that
actually,
moment,
yeah.
that food that you're wiping away,
Yes.
that was me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Your dad. Like, who do you take after?
There's none in the family. There's none in the family.
It's no one in the family.
Yeah. It's the desire to express yourself, to say the things that are not said.
Yes. Did you grow up in an environment where you were free to talk about anything?
No. Never. Where I grew up, I didn't even know I had a voice.
Okay.
I didn't know I had a voice. Yeah. I was voiceless. And many kids are growing up voiceless.
Voiceless meaning?
Meaning they can't express themselves. They can't.
So for you, the paper and pen was your platform of expression. Wow. So all of those things were deep inside you, and still are.
Yeah, they still are. Still are.
By the time you realize that you actually have a voice, were you able to now express yourself?
Yes, on paper.
Still on paper,
Yeah.
not orally.
Not orally. I'm a very shy man.
You're shy. Is that why you're whispering?
Cameras and stuff.
You don't even look shy.
Shy is not about looking shy.
It's
It's
about-
about being shy.
It's being shy.
It's
It's not look. It's not look.
Just being.
It's being. Okay. So even on you, so you couldn't say anything
I couldn't say anything
to this day.
to this day, and that is why this book is dedicated to people who believed in a self I didn't know was mine. It took me time to realize the self was mine. People kept telling me, you can write, you can be a poet, but I didn't believe that.
How do they know?
They've been reading stuff I write. I write, stuff I write, not stuff I say.
Yes, stuff you write. So you write and share.
Exactly.
Wow. Incredible. Why are you laughing?
No, because you always get surprised when you meet Mboya.
Yeah, like I
Yes,
am right now.
Like I knew him on Facebook before we met face to face. And one time I called him, and he was like, is this the same Oyoo? Because his writing is so naked. His writing is so bold and everything. But when he was speaking, he was talking like Mtoto Mesa. Mtoto Mesa.
Yeah.
Are you Oyoo really?
Are you the one?
And right now, this is how calm he is. How he's speaking, soft-spoken and stuff.
Yeah.
But when you go and read the stuff that he writes,
it's loud.
on Facebook and everything
Yeah.
and stuff. Even there are poems in that book, and when you read this, man, I'd like to really meet this. I think this is a rowdy guy.
Yeah.
I love this kind of.
He's not.
When you meet him, it's the opposite of what you expect.
And your poems, are they the opposite?
The
Because
opposite.
you're loud.
I'm loud.
So-
My poems are loud.
They're louder.
Yeah, I'm loud. My poems are loud. With
Yeah.
a tinge of pain.
Pain. You also write from experience.
Yeah, from experience, from my own experiences, from my feelings and emotions and stuff, and then from experiences of others which you see
What's
going around and stuff.
you.
Yeah.
Okay. On your dedication page, and you say that this book of poetry is dedicated to the few who, in the glaring face of a misinformed majority, have not abandoned the belief that art and the power of words and not science can heal the undiagnosable diseases ailing humanity.
The contemporary society is suffering from so many things, and being depressed is being a celebrity. I've seen people celebrate when they're depressed and mentally ill. Yeah. Everyone wants to be depressed. So that happens.
What do you mean everyone wants to be depressed?
Honestly.
It's become a tier thing.
Exactly. And mentally ill. And when you get to hear like a friend is mentally ill, you see, you share it and you call people, and it's like a party. You see, we have tried finding solutions from science and the hospitals, but I want to believe that therapy sessions are storytelling sessions, and that is art.
The power of words.
Exactly.
Like the things you can be told that start your healing.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Or start your breaking.
Let me hear you read one last reading.
Please.
Cindy.
We are reading droppings.
Okay.
Droppings, Laramasi.
Droppings. Droppings are the word would be a mild word for damn or stuff. Yeah. So that is what we are.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That is what we are, humans.
Yes.
Yeah. We live life, and then in the ultimate end we are dropped into graves. And that is what we are. So droppings. Every day we drop many things in many places. Every day we drop many people in many things. Cigarette butts in smoking zones, bad habits in etiquette classes, coffee tumblers in trash cans, empty snack packets in refuse bins, dung in municipal shitholes, loots in corruption baskets, deceit between mantras and philosophies, plastic friendships at the junction of fakes, strippers at nightclub doors, worthless coins in bowls of beggars, tears of frustrations in cheap handkerchiefs, broken beer bottles in empty sewers, self-inflicted misery between pages of Bibles, bus fares in the palms of touts, lust between young, fragile ties, love in abstract words, care in theatrical actions, human seeds in rubber sheets, pain in capsule pills, aches in blanket of smoke, pleasures in whiskey glasses. We drop our bodies from planes, buses, cars, bikes, offices, beds, clothes, and brothels. God. In the ultimate end of all droppings, when we can drop no more, we are then dropped like the debris we are into the graves of dust, vanity.
The onus is on you.
That is one poem that I love in the book. It just shows the vanity in all of it. Like there isn't much need to hold on to stuff. Because at the end of the day, you will be dropped as much as you've been dropping things along the way. And another thing that it also showed is the true definition of what relationships are. Like, people are with you as long as they can get certain value. When they've extracted the nectar and taken all that was in you, then they drop you the husks. Now you become the husk. You can be dropped anywhere. You know, so it really weighs into, when I read it, the lesson that I get is to detach. Detach so much from the things that you own and relationships that you have. I can be your friend, but having a lot of expectations on you as a human, it will only come back to hurt me. Because what do you feel like when you're dropped? You feel hurt, you feel disappointed, and you feel everything. But you feel that way because you invested a lot in that relationship, emotionally and stuff. So when you have that feeling, when you get now the real picture, though hurtful it is, but we humans are disposable. We humans are disposable. One day, this person will drop you, and you're supposed to live with that. So that is the biggest lesson that I took from that part.
Okay.
Yes, it is one of the points that I love in that book.
Yeah.
That and the people's back.
You know, the beauty about poetry is that every interpretation is right. I hadn't thought about the poem as Agak explains it. Yeah. I hadn't thought about human relationships and how we drop others. I hadn't seen that in that.
That is what I got.
So it means there's layers and layers in this.
Of interpretation.
Yes.
Exactly.
I like that. My favorite is Wangeshi, as we all know by now.
It had to be.
It had to be. It's personal. It's personal. So what next for you? How can people find you? If anyone is looking for you, for your writings, are you on Facebook? I heard him talk about.
Yes, I am on Facebook actually. I'm
He's a Facebook addict.
He's
a Facebook addict.
Addict, right?
Okay. Facebook
Addict.
addict.
Yeah, I'm a Facebook addict. You know, before when I begin my day on Facebook, and I ended there.
And we begin it there, writing, giving us some little bit of.
Yeah, I'm out there bare and naked, as he did say.
Yeah,
on
you
Facebook,
write.
I'm out there bare and naked.
Yeah. So Facebook, we go by what names?
Oyoo,
Mboya. Still your names anyway.
I don't exist in any other platform. Just that.
Just
that.
He's not on Instagram.
no.
And on
Facebook.
YouTube, and Twitter.
No. And you? How can people find you?
You can find me first when you see me, that is one. Second, you can find me on Facebook and stuff.
As well.
Yes, and
Okay.
George Agak.
Agak.
Yeah.
Okay, your writings are also there.
Yeah. But I also have a book published.
Yes.
So you find me and you find the book.
The one for Nothing Underneath.
Nothing underneath.
Yeah. That title has so many layers as well.
Yeah. And he has an upcoming book too.
Okay,
Yeah.
tell us about it.
Slavers of Darkness. Yeah. That is the much I'm
That's it,
wishing
to the end.
to reveal now, because it's still in the process. We're still editing it. So maybe by the time I'm done with the edits, I want to be having the same aspirations I have with it now. I might have interpreted the title differently.
Of course, things change.
Maybe restructure the poems.
So how different is it from the first book?
From the first, this one is now themed. Yes, Slavers of Darkness.
Yes.
It's just about my pains. By the way, that book is about me. It's just a book about me, my pains, my struggles, and the few bliss here and there.
Yeah.
That is when you now decide that I have a lot of things going on in my life.
Yeah.
But I want to focus on my pain for now.
For now.
Yeah.
That's the book.
Yeah.
Wow. Must have taken a lot to write it.
It
to
has
revisit those painful.
Yes, and it's a kind of huge book. It's much bigger than this one. There's a lot of fun. How many pages are there? Pages. Big, because he edited it. He was helping me with editing. How many pages are there? Yeah, and then between the poems there are quotes and there are bridges.
Nice.
It's a huge book.
Nice. Well, gentlemen, thank you for coming to the show today. And for writing first about me. I know that's vanity, which is also in the book, but that's also okay. But for sharing your stories, and also that you're easily accessible on Facebook, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Mboya. Can I do that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Thank you for joining us this morning. We are KTN Life and Style on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Should you want to be a guest on the show, let us know. We also want to thank the management of Best Western Hotel, located along Mombasa Road, right here within Signature Mall. Thank you for giving us this beautiful space to have these incredible conversations with these two incredible gentlemen. Until next week, have a wonderful day.